Hey Woodturners, I'm Captain Eddie. Welcome to my shop. Last week we did one of these concentric circle cubes. Just a little art piece, just a little fun, something that you can hang. In fact, I made the one I did last week into like a chain fob and put it in my office. The guys that are more than 5 foot 9 inches tall bump into it every time they come in. I love it. Okay, but I used the multi-tool, and I showed you my multi-tool, and I couldn't find any more. And one of you guys will tell me where you can find them today. Right? Right. Okay. But I came out here and played around. I found an old David Ellsworth's deep hollower, and this was the state of the art back years ago for hollowing. And I got to playing with putting a different cutter. Now this is a cutter made from machining. No magic. It's got 5% cobalt. That's no magic. And it's made for putting on a machine lathe and putting in a tool holder and cutting stuff. That's all I can figure. All right. It's the same thing that David used, except I didn't cut mine off. You cut it back to only be a nub to use it for that deep hollowing, and you put it on a 45 to get into corners and stuff. And I thought I had my other one up here, and it's gone. But I think if you look in the books, you'll find it. So I got to play with this the other night. This worked out pretty good, and I want to show you how to build it. And you use it the same way, but if you don't have the multi-tool, you can get this. Are you ready? All you need to do is watch. The light out here is often pretty rough. I just put the canopy up and hadn't gotten any lights in. But I'm starting off with the bar. Now, the bar, this is a David Ellsworth original. It had a 1/4 inch hole drilled in one end, about 3/4 to an inch deep. The bar is 12-14 inches long, and a long time ago I made a plywood handle and stuck it in there with a piece of pipe for a furrow. See, there's not a lot of magic in it, right? Okay. Now, if you don't have all these parts, this is a 5/8 inch mild steel bar. Put it in your drill press, drill down through the center. Center as you can get it. Don't throw away if you mess it up, and whatever you do, don't cut it off the length until you drill it. Why? Because if you mess it up really bad, you can always cut it off and start again. Right? Okay. Now, to put the cutter in, the cutter comes as a 1/4 inch square piece of stock. See this? Okay, that's a 1/4 by 1/4 by 2.5 inch piece of stock. It's got a 15-degree bevel on one end, and that comes in handy later on. But it's also got a 15-degree bevel on the other end, and that comes in handy too. So we're going to take one end, put it in a good old-fashioned vice grip. We're going to knock the corners off with a grinder, and I'm going to use my offset grinder with one of these flat pads on it because this is pretty aggressive. I'm going to go about 1 inch up on it and just knock the corners off until I can stick it in the end of the rod. You with me? Good. Now that worked out, got it in there. Wow. Remember the days we used to have to use another wrench to get the vice grip apart until they came up that nifty little handle? Yeah, I've got fingers that still hurt from that. Now, that is as crooked as a Louisiana politician. For those of y'all that believe you've got us beat, we got the best politicians money can buy. Cheap money. That's right. Okay, now, I've got it in there. That will be the top where the printing happens to be. I got a little printing on there, and it says M35, 5% cobalt. It gets a little bit sharper. Okay. I have found that when I'm using this edge down here being softened, that would be from my side, the lower left corner being softened so I can roll it up on that side. Before I put this in place, I want to soften that. Why? Because the heat will destroy how I'm going to put it in place. So I'm going to rub it off a little bit. Got it? Got it. When I got home at 2 o'clock from the shop, the office, it's 92 degrees with a high of 92. It's 96 degrees at 5:30 in the evening. Something went terribly wrong with the forecast, or what I like to call the wild ass guess by the forecaster. Okay, but I'm back out here because this tool can also be used, and these cutter tips can also be used to create yourself a hollow, very similar to what David Ellsworth originally started with a long, long time ago. Now you take the 2.5 inch piece and you cut it off with one of these cutting wheels, metal cutting wheels. They're about a 1/16 or an 1/8 inch thick, and your offset grinder to make a shorter tip. Now you can fit it and then cut it off to get it to the right length, and then you put a slight radius on it or a bull nose, and you also take down the top a little bit to give it a little negative rake, and it makes a great hollowing tool for going straight in on end grain. Alright, but you want to get over to the side. David had one that did the angle too, so when you're drilling this hole, you put a flat spot on the side of your tool, you punch it, and you drill a 45. If it's not perfectly 45, I will not tell. I'm going to come check your tools after you leave the shop, and if I find it, I might tell your best friend, but I won't tell anybody else. But that gives you one on a 45 to get back in and get under lips and down through the bottom of pieces. These were the original hollowing tools by David Ellsworth when he brought hollowing to the forefront 15, 18, I don't want to date David, a long time ago. You can make them, very same stuff he's using. So, now, back inside. The air conditioning ain't much, but it's better than that. The only thing different about this and the multi-tool is not as aggressive. I sharpened this. This is the top side. I've got some printing on here for me to keep it straight. I sharpened it upside down on my grinder at 15 degrees. Slight slope here, right? I put top down 15 degrees, put it in and dressed it off. Why? I want an edge up here. I want a wire on top. This son of a gun is very aggressive. Now, this top edge stays square, and I soften this edge because I roll it up on the edge sometimes. And if I roll up the other way, that son of a gun will bite. And I'll mess this up a pretty good bit. So that's what I'm using for cutting. Gives me good square lines, good flat bottom, cuts in real nice, and it's fairly simple to do. Let's turn the block and see how we start fresh. Printing's on top. Now I only have a 15-degree bevel, so if I get down too low, I won't be able to cut the center. So I would do better cutting above center than at center. Follow? Okay. I always got to ask, make sure you guys are on the same page. Heck, sometimes y'all not even in the same boat. I think that got a little aggressive. .800 RPMs, Sycamore again. Oh, y'all weren't here when I did the Sycamore. You don't have to take those 1/4 inch cuts. You can just sneak in. long wood sneaking in is better than that big cut. Now you will get a little hang up of trash over the front end because it's a scraper. You get it? You're not cutting anymore, go ahead and shut her down. So, that's the tool. And it does really good clean cuts. Can you get you in any closer here? You're in the catbird seat. Look how clean those cuts are. Wait a minute, I can get you better than that. Now, take a look at that. When I'm teaching students, I call that a 320 cut. That's already sanded to 320 and it's really nice. It's not tearing up the wood any, it's not plowing out in the bottom because it's got that wire on the edge of it for a scrape. That is sweet. Building the tool is really easy. It's a little bit of metal work, a little drilling, a little bit of that medium thick CA glue, and you've got a tool. You can make a handle, right? Okay. So, then you can make one of these. Now, last week I got some emails about what good is it? Do you know it has no purpose at all except to be a skill builder for you? To teach you how to hollow, to teach you exactness, how to turn something, how to hold something, how to finish something. That's all it does is teach you. It's a skill builder. Just like turning an ink pen, it's a skill builder. But this is one skill builder that you can put a wire in, or a rare earth magnet in, or just stick it on a point on a block and put it on somebody's desk, and they can't stand but to pick it up and look at it. And play with it. Show it to somebody. So it's a gift you can give a friend. Isn't that what your wood turning should be about? Something you do that you enjoy, that you can give to others and share it. So, now, let's get back to the tools. This cutter. I said there was no magic. There is no magic. It's a cutter. They're available at Granger, MSC, and a half a dozen other machine supply houses. No magic. The magic is they can't go abracadabra and get them to you. They charge you freight. And to get 3, the freight is about 10, 12 bucks. It runs up there. So, I brought in about 25 or 30 to my place. I can sell them for $10 each, or 3 for $25. Now with the 3, you can share them with your buddy, cutting a sale out with the guy that's in your wood turning club, or keep them to make a deep hollow or in a 45, or. So that's the deal. $10 each, 3 for $25. I have them in stock. I can get them to you in a couple of days. Now, if you're interested, go to my website, eddiecastellan.com, or drop me a note, eddiecastellan@cox.net, or give me a phone call, and I'll be glad to talk to you about it. It's a nice, easy tool to build. It's got a lot of uses, and you will be soon be, I love this, making shavings. I am. Somebody the other day asked me about variations on the theme. 4 steps, 5 steps, little, triangle. Now that's going to be a holding all its own. But you don't have to wait for me to get there. You send me your pictures, I'll put them on my website. For anything you turn, send me a picture, say, Cap, add it to my website, add it to your website, and I'll put it there. Something like, I think I call it your work. All right. I'm making shavings. I don't know what you're doing.